when Khogendro attacked Jetsin house and carried out all his valuable materials. Now, all this entire incident was formally and personally informed to Maharaja by Jetsin, but he did not receive any response. Therefore, Jetsin he sent some of his followers like Kusi Krishna, Kantorai, and some of his close associates to Ramchira village. Ramchira village, now of course in Bangladesh, to request Ratnamoni, all right, Ratnamani, which you might have known as the Ratan Moni Muatia. Okay, I call it as Ratna. All right, Moni is a sannyasi. So Ratnamani to come to Tripura so that he could get some enlightenment, okay, or that he could help him against the expectation of Khogendra. Now, Ratnamani, in response to the request, came to Tripura as a mystic, ascetic means sannyasi, with long hair, a tongue in his hand, a garland of wood drugs around his neck. Now, initially, his objective was purely religious. Ratnamani, after coming to Tripura on invitation of Dev Singh, he used to establish ashram, all right, a religious place, like in Taufom, Charimoja, Chelagong, no, Pental, all right, in Santi Bazar or in Amarpur, right, or Udaipur, present in that area. And he used to initiate Diksha. Diksha means, it's a type of preparation or consecration for a religious ceremony among the Ryans, for the socio-religious upliftment. And it was Ratnamani's first disciple, Kusi Krishna. It was said that he was very expert in composing devotional songs. Now, as the number of Ratnamani's disciples increased, some of the Chaudhry means village head, who are very close to Khogendra, they became very much anxious, about their position, about their status. So there was a conflict which developed with Ratnamani and his followers. Now, at the source of river Gumuti in Dumbur, I mean at Dumbur in Tithomuk, in Tithomuk during the month of January, there used to be a big fair. So the Tithomuk. So the Riang used to perform the religious rites to their ancestor, okay, at the time of what they call it as post Sankranta, okay, or post Sankranti. So on that particular day, a large number of Riang used to gather from all parts of Tripura. Now, at one point of time, the Brahmin of the Bengal area, on the invitation of Khogendra, they started acting as priests and openly exploited the simple and unlettered Ryans in the name of Dakshina, or we can call it donation. So this Brahmin and the Ryan Chaudhry, under the instruction of Khogendra, they said the Dakshina. As a result, the Brahmin and the Chaudhry nexus, it effectively exploited the common Ryan in the name of religion. So Ratnamani and his followers at once, they protested against this system, saying that he and his disciples are very much qualified enough to act as priests, and the assistance of Brahmin were no longer required. So this Chaudhry and the Brahmin, they opposed it tooth and nail, but they were not that strong enough to counter the new move. Right. So this Chaudhry, of course, and Ratnamani, okay, it marked the beginning of the conflict. So this Chaudhry, they complained to the Maharaja about the activities of Ratnamani. And without proper investigation, of course, he was arrested, Ratnamani was arrested. He was confined into a special royal custody known as Alangar. Alangar. But he was able to set free himself. Now, Ratnamani's disciple believed that it was his divine and supernatural power which enabled him to escape. But it was later on learned that it was one of his close royal attendants, Brahmo Dev Burma, Brahmor Dev Burma, who was inspired by Ratnamani. He helped him to escape. Now, this was a very turning point in his life. It not only enhanced his status, but also regarded as an incarnation. But it is very interesting to note that although Ratnamani belonged to Nuatia community, now in 1942, remember, here again was some confusion regarding Nuatia and Tripura. Now, the Riang called the Nuatia, the Riang called the Tripura as Tal, right? KTAL, Tal. Tal means, of course, milk. Now it is very interesting to note that this Ratnamani, he belonged to the Nuatia community. Now, regarding this confusion, let me tell most of you, like Tripura, we have got 19 tribes, 19 indigenous tribes. Of course, with the inclusion of Dalong, there are 20 at present. But the number one, you will see Tripuri, right? In the Tripuri, there are two communities. One is Debormon, the other is Tripuri. So most of, during the 1940s, all those Nuatias, they don't regard themselves as Nuatias at present. They tend to, associate with Tripura. Okay. So, but going back to our historical background, 1940s, we will not call as Ratnamani Tripura, but we will call as Ratnamani Nuatia. So it is very interesting to note that he belonged to the Nuatia community, but he assumed the leadership of the Riang. And the Riang are a different tribal community. So the Riang had been under a process of series of cultural and administrative changes caused by the attitude of the Rai. Rai means a community head. So the reason may be traced in the long, socio-economic and political expectation. And of course, oppression by the Rai, the Chaudhry, and the Maharaja of Tripura. Now I'll just come to some of the points where the conflict or where the problem arose. Firstly, the Maharaja's discrimination in imposition of the common house tax. Earlier there was a house tax known as Ghar Chukti, on his tribal subject in the hill area. Now, some of you might be knowing that there are two types of Tripura. One is plainland Tripura, other is a hilly Tripura. Plainland Tripura, Saklarosnava, where majority of them are now in Bangladesh, and the hill Tripura, where the present geographical boundary that we reside. So it is on the hill Tripura that tribal will reside. So it is on the tribal that this Ghar Chukti are being imposed by the Maharaj during those days. So the Zoom cultivators, the tribal, they were primitive, but now they are not free from taxes. So this tribal, shifting cultivator, they used to produce paddy, cotton, oil seed, sesame, and they have to pay all those taxes known as Ghar Chukti. And they're being calculated family-wise. Now it is since 1904, the Maharaja of Tripura asserted his authority by subjugating the tribe like the Kukis or the Ria, and these various house tax that are being implemented on the various tribe are becoming, a type of sole relation between the ruling family and the subject of Tripura or the Maharaja of Tripura. So between 1934 to 1943, just before the uprising, for instance, the revenue that is being collected from the family tax, it increased by 76% till 1943. Earlier, in 1873, 1874, it was only 19%. So it was the Riang, in this collection of taxes, it was the Riang and the Nuatia who shared most of the burden of the family tax, because they have to pay at a much higher rate than the ruling tributes. So since 1913, it has been recorded, even in the state gazetteer also. Even the Kuki, for example, they have to pay a tax of around rupees 5 to 4 annas, while the Riang and the Nuatia, they have to pay at rupees 10, per family. The Jamatia, the Tripuri, they pay a minimum of 3 to 8 annas. Now, besides this, of course, there is lots of other excess duty on the sale of bamboo, on the sale of cane, at a comparatively higher rate. Even the Maharaja had admitted, the fact that the Riang and the Nuatia were especially overburdened by the taxes. So such inequality, among the various tribes in terms of separate identity, it tend to go in the seed of discontentment and strain the inter-tribe relationship in Tripura. As such, they approached Ratnamani in terms of the Riang, and under his guidance, there is a socio-economic movement of the Riang and the Nuatia, it gathered its strength. The first political and economic. Secondly, in the traditional, administrative setup, the Rai and the Chaudhry. Rai, the community head, the Chaudhry, the village heads. So the Rai and the Chaudhry, actually, they enjoy the enormous power and exercise the judicial authority over their own particular tribe. Yeah. And also like they extend and used to impose fine on them. They paid no tax. This Rai and Chaudhary, they paid no tax, but they received commission on the collection. So the Rai and the Chaudhary, they took pride in collecting the taxes by means of fair or foul, and were financially rewarded by the Maharaja. And also the Maharaja was not bothered about the means of collection of tax. He was only interested in the amount. Moreover, the assessment of taxation was also not carried with further, scope for oppression and exploitation by the agent of the, by the agent against those tribes like the Ria. Right. This is regarding the administrative system and their power. Thirdly, this root of the uprising, it can also be traced to the famine condition in Tripura, say in the late 1930s and also in the early 1940s. Now, Tripura never recovered from the disintegrated effects of the depression. The condition of the hill people, following the depression. So this depression in the 1930s was only Tripura, but also all over the world, right, in the 1930s, 1932. So this depression was very, very deplorable. So there was a quick scarcity of money. There was a gloomy trade condition. Then the Maharaja used to purchase, sometimes by force, all the available paddy and rice just to feed the people in the capital. And also for his expanding army, including the newly created Tripura, first Tripura Rifle and the Tripura Mahavir Legion. Right. So this led to the, acute scarcity of food for the common people of the state. Now, the effect of such condition was very destructive on the tribal living in the hill, who were practically, on the throne of famine, as rainfall had been very insufficient during this year. Even the June cultivation was very inadequate. So majority of the young, they literally found it very extremely difficult to pay the tax. Later, under the leadership of Ratnamani, the common, Riyam, they sought to solve the food crisis by opening Dharmagola. Dharmagola is a type of grain go down in the villages. So Ratnamani used to open the Dharmagola in their ashram and used to feed those, famine-stricken people. Now there was one. I just want to quote a report that is containing on the picture of the famine-stricken people of the region, which I found out from the archives. Now they said that, quote unquote. Now, when we captured the area and raided each and every house, we found only cotton and utensil without any trace of paddy or rice. In Amarpur and Udaipur, there are no further group of the dacoit party. In fact, they are passing through acute scarcity. Last group we captured had been starving for the last 3 days. This is just quotation how the people have been suffering during this period regarding economic problem. Now, fourthly, there was an outbreak of the Second World War, right, 1913. And princely Tripura found itself committed to support the British war effort. Now, Tripura was not a part of British India. Tripura was not part of India. Tripura itself is independent. Yeah, it was a princely state, but not under the control of the British. But then Tripura has been surrounded more or less by British Empire, all right, British India Empire. So in one or the other way, the Maharaja of Tripura or the princely state of Tripura have to go in tune with the British regime. So Tripura found itself committed, to support the British war. Now during this Second World War, the Japanese and also regarding Subhash Chandra Bose, Azad Hind Force, they were also enhancing their activities against the allied force of the British, like in Nagaland or in Manipur or in the Chittagong Hill areas. So for war purposes, Maharaja Bir Bikram Kishore Manikya, he organized Tripura Rajya Raksha Bahini, or Tripura State Security Force, by drawing young men from various tribal societies of the likes of the Jamatias, the Noatias, the Riang, the Halam, through their concerned village heads. So the Maharaja also informed the Viceroy of government of British India, that he was placing his personal service and resources of his state at the disposal of the government of British India. But the economic structure of the whole world during the Second World War was debilitating, and also it was at an economic downfall. So in Tripura, this first measure that was being taken to increase and collect the tax for this war purpose, and to recruit the young men from all those tribal who are famine stricken. Okay. Now these are all the part of the problem. Now, during the year 1938 to 1945, Second World War, there was a high, rise even in terms of the food grain. Now, food grain was the staple crops of the people. The tax collection machinery, it was geared up by the Maharaja. Now, for instance, like rupees 4, per family, that means Ghar Chukti, it was imposed largely around Dumbur area in Amarpur, in South Tripura, mostly populated by the Armenian. Now, they have to pay rupees 9 in place of rupees 5. This was quite high for all those, June shifting cultivators, and this aggregated the grievances of the tribe or the Armenian. Now, not only that, this year, 1939, 1940, this is a war period and very difficult for the Riyan. So the Maharaja also wanted to raise a band of soldiers from the Riyan community. And so Maharaja ordered Deb Singh, all right, the Rai. I'm coming back to our topic, the Rai, the Deb Singh. So the Rai, just to collect the soldiers from the Riyan community. But he failed to recruit the people because the people were suffering from rain hardship and impoverishment. So Deb Singh, he lost no time in reporting his inability to, collect the young recruits or to realize the taxes. So at this stage, it was Khogendra, son of Amania, the influential village chief, which I was telling in the initial lecture. He began intriguing to obtain the rice. So in order to seek his cherished dream, he assumed, or he assured, right? He assured the Maharaja that his son, right? Amanya was telling that his son Khogendra would be able to realize all dues and prevail upon the young youth to enlist in good number in the state forces. The Maharaja, anxious to do his bid accurately, under some pressure from the imperial power for war contribution, violating the established tribal norm, he dismissed Deb Singh and granted the title of Rai to Khogendra. But actually, this granting of the title, the way it was being published in the Rajgir Tripura Sarkari Bangla, that is being mentioned the title Rai, it was conferred to Khogendra only in November 1943, long after the final suppression of the movement. That means during this 1942-43, Khogendra was not the genuine Rai. It was in fact Deb Singh. Okay. It was on after November 1943 when the uprising was suppressed that Khogendra was conferred with the title. Nevertheless, Khogendra and his associate Chaudhurys, there are lots of associate Chaudhurys. Okay, it might be in Udaipur subdivision or Durania subdivision. Okay. They place, that telling that okay, they will fulfill, all the commitment of the Maharaja to have the British. Okay. So first of all, Khogendra, what he did, Khogendra and his associates, they began to alienate the Riyan and they aggregate, their discontent. Also, there was a report of the non-Riyan Brahmin and Khogendra's rise influencing Chaudhry nexus, which I was telling you at Pithumo. So what happened was that the follower of the deposed, Rai, that is Deb Singh, like there are many persons like Tainda, then Mukunda, then Dhananjay, they chose Ratnamani to show them the way. And it was in fact Deb Singh who sent his close, associate like Krishna and Kantorai and some other for Ratnamani to come to Tripura. So they invited to help them, to help Ratnamani against the expectation of the newly self-proclaimed Rai, that is Khogendra. Of course, Ratnamani, he took up the cause of the Riyan with Horendra Chandra Devarma. Horendra Chandra Devarma was the mystic. Now, mystic is the liaison officer, to make a connection between one person to the other person. So, Ratnamani, he took up the cause of the Riyan to mediate, between the Maharaja and the, That is what they call it, the Khogendra. But Kharendra Chandra Devarma was unsympathetic and Ratnamani's hope of placing the problem of the realm before Maharaja through him, it failed. Instead, Ratnamani was arrested without any proper investigation, and he was confined into a very special royal custody known as Alanga, which I was telling you earlier. When he was being treated with the royal attendant, Brahmada Burma, inspired by his own personality, Ratnamani's personality. Nevertheless, there was the first attempt by Ratnamani. Second attempt, Ratnamani and Dev Singh, they made through the Lusai chief, Rangbunga. Lusai chief means the Lusai chief based in Champoi, present day. But that too was in vain. Actually, Ratnamani sent two of his close associates, Ram Bahadur, whose Ram Bahadur Young, the father was a Lusai, mother was a Riang of Amorpur area. And of course, he sent another person, Devarai, for the Lusai chief, Rangbunga in Champoi, just to sort out their problem. Because Lusai chief was one of the very much influencer. So through Lusai chief wanted to mediate it. Yeah, but then same thing. Of course, the Lusai chief could not come. He sent his son, Edi Choma, in his place for this mutual negotiation meeting. This meeting was held, of course, at Khogendra's house in Bokafa. There were 25 members, including Dev Singh and the Lusai chief representative and Ratnamani, but without any fruitful result. Instead, Khogendra, he betrayed them and filed an allegation against them that Ratnamani disciple tried to loot his wealth. However, Dev Singh arrived and his follower, they sent the Lusai representative with a message to the Lusai chief, okay, for his intervention in the matter. So Rangbunga, after receiving the message, he sent it directly to the Maharaja. The Maharaja, the Maharaja, after receiving the message, he was in fact furious with Dev Singh and his follower. Maharaja was furious with Dev Singh to the fact that he was deposed from his presidency because he failed to implement his order of recruitment of the young youths to the Maharaja's force, and also his inability to collect the grant. In the meantime, Ratnamani tried for the last time to bring peace between Dev Singh and Khogen. Ratnamani, he sent 3 of his close associates, Kusi Krishna, Handai Singh, and Kantorai, to Agartala to readdress their grievances against Khogen and his associate Chaudhurys. But they were instead arrested on reaching Agartala because Khogendra had earlier complained to the Maharaja of them trying to loot his wealth. So they were being put behind bars for 48 days until his bodyguard, Maharaja's bodyguard, released them. At last, the reactionary measure of Khogendra and the Chaudhry and the non-cooperation of the Maharaja compelled the Riang to save themselves and start the uprising. So in this way, the uprising was happening. So this uprising under the leadership of Ratnamani was that, first of all, the economic crisis caused by the Second World War, which affected the people, and in this background was the Rai Chaudhurys of Amarpur, Bilonia rose into oppression against the Maharaja. Secondly, of course, the traditional, religious trends, Ratnamani attempted a reformistic movement against the Riang. His principal ideology was to reform the Riang society, along the line of the Hindu tradition, based on Shaivism philosophy. Now, during post-Mila, there was agitation, the conflict between all those Brahmin Chaudhurys. Thirdly, the connection of the uprising with Swadeshi. Somewhere you might find, the Swadeshi. Swadeshi, being a student of history, most of you might learn about the Swadeshi movement in India, right? In 1905 to 1907, you might be learning about the Quit India movement, 1942, in India, right? British India. So even this movement, it was being, or uprising, it was being connected with Swadeshi and Quit India movement. But this is an argument to be argumented here with reference to Ratnamani being a Swadeshi or Quit India, okay, or being an agent of the Japanese. How did it arise? When the British police arrested Ratnamani during the course of the revolt and handed him over to the Maharaja of Tripura, if Ratnamani was really a Swadeshi, or if Ratnamani was an agent of the Japanese, then he would have been the prime target of the British. The British will not have handed him over to the Maharaja, right? So the British would never compromise with their security. They would never have been bowed so easily to the request for the extradition of Ratnamani from Chittagong to Tripura, where he was arrested and brought to Agartala. And this year, 1943, it has been the prime year when the Japanese and the Indian National Army, they were on the threshold of the British territory. Of course, the fact, however, is that Ratnamani did not, he had not the requisite socio-political background, which could only give him, access to the Japanese. And also the Indian National Army was in action on Indian soil only between March and June 1944, not before that, not during 1942, not during 1942. Okay. So the INA came to India like in Manipur or maybe in Nagaland, but it was in 1944, much after Ratnamani's unfortunate death. And also this uprising was against the authority of the Chaudhry, or against the Chaudhry and against the Rai, and not against the Maharaja of Tripura. But the Maharaja could not understand all the facts due to the tricky role of the Chaudhrys and the Rais of the Amania or Kokendra. So due to this, a localized issue, it became the cause of the uprising. And the pattern of mobilization in this uprising, it essentially invoked the resistance to the elite domination, that is the Rai and the Chaudhry. So the Rayong uprising, it was a very powerful protest by a very much subordinate social group against the established priestly order, you can call it here. In the Rayong uprising, it represented a powerful indigenous tradition of mass politics with its own mode of mobilization and method. So the Rayong uprising was a very special type of peasant protest. Okay. It posed a very powerful challenge to the Tripura monarchy, but it was also weakened, the priestly power in Tripura to a great extent. It added significantly to the disintegration regarding the existing socio-economic and political structure of Tripura. Now it can therefore be said that this uprising, it paved a way, for the more powerful political protests in Tripura. And this Rayong uprising was, in real sense, you can call it, the precursor to the violent mass mobilization during the 1948, 1951. There is been later on, of course, this in Tripura, the political Tripura, like maybe Ganamukti Parishad or Tripura National Liberation Organization, which later on, completed the process of disintegration of the priestly rule in Tripura and down to a new democratic process of administration. Like in 1949, Tripura became a part of Indian Union. Of course, subsequently, after becoming a part of India, the Tripura State Congress leader and the chief minister during those area in 1963, Sachindra Lal Sinha, he cemented the bond with the Rayong, with the Congress, by inducting Rajprasad Chaudhary, the Rayong, who was the principal follower of Ratnamani, into the ministry. 1987, the left-wing government of Tripura, they declared Ratnamani a fighter, for the cause of the people, and we recognized the follower, as a freedom fighter. And they used to receive a pension, regular pension from the state government. So from this above description, it can be assumed that the Rayong were undergoing, a phase of reformistic social mobility movement. And this social mobility movement and solidarity movement among the Rayong, in context, to reformistic ideology, are still, under revivalism, because of the present social status or strong sense of ethnicity. Nevertheless, this organized and cohesive effort, through this uprising in 1943, it brought, social solidarity among them. This uprising, in fact, it was a voice that has been expressed, against the feudal exploitation, just to realize the socio-economic and political rights of the people, including the self-expression, or to protect the distinct entity. So we can say that the young movement of the uprising was an indigenous tribal mass movement, which is a very much powerful factor in Tripura politics, as it attracted considerable attention of the repressive state apparatus that is engaged in putting down. And why I call it uprising and not against the state? Because in whole of this, uprising, or you can call it a movement, there are just 7% who are being killed, during the class. Okay, or we call it that 7.5 because 1%, okay, women was pregnant. So we call it in the young they call it as 7.5, like who died during the course of this movement. So with this few analysis, I hope most of you could more or less understood, regarding this uprising, okay, from where you have studied, from where you begin study. Okay, so thank you. Uh, that was it from my side.
Oh yeah,
Thank you once again.
yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Uh, so Debashish, I'm taking over the
Yeah,
session
please,
from you.
please, ma'am.
So thank you so much, sir, for your highly enlightening speech, and it was really very learning, and there are different aspects of Riyang revolution and uprising that we have read yet. Also, there is a different perspectives you have touched and about the overview, and we got a detailed overview about the Riyang uprising. We are highly thankful to you again for your time. So now, as the lecture is finished, I am requesting all the attendees, if you have any kind of question, now the platform is open for the question answer session. If anyone is having any kind of question to ask our research person today, please raise your questions. You can ask question in the message box. Or you can raise your hands also if you want to ask any question. Okay, so far we are not getting, as we are not getting any questions, so I think we can call off this question answer session. I am heading over the session to Tanmay again.
Thank you, ma'am. An important reminder for all that the certificate would be provided to all on the basis of submission of the complete feedback form. Now, like to request Sir Devashish to give a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Tanmoy. Before proposing the vote of thanks, I really want to make some concluding remarks on the lecture of Sir Lincoln Ryan. First of all, sir, it was a wonderful lecture. Till now, whenever we used to study Young Uprising of 1943, or we were teaching Young Uprising to our students in this department, we only used to find about information. We used to be able to find information about the driving in one page or maximum two-page in the books of the books in the written by different historians of the history of Tripura. But after hearing you lecture, after understanding the different dimensions of Riyang uprising, which you have highlighted correctly, how Great Depression, which was a world phenomena, how it affected a tribe of Tripura 100 years back and how it actually indirectly ignited into a uprising. It was really wonderful. Then you also focused on the economic crisis aspect of the young community, how this house tax and family tax might was increased. It is very difficult to apprehend right now that back then 10 rupees was asked to a tribal family for the house tax. Back then, inflation was quite low. Back then, 10 rupees was too much huge for a tribal family who was staying in the hills and paying that much to the uh, Maharaja or to the Rai or Chaudhry tax. It was really unimaginable even from even in today's time. And then you also sir highlighted the aspect of Ratnamuli. So it was actually a very wonderful revelation from your side that I never knew that Ratnamuni was a Noatia. I thought he was also a Yan. And the way you have introduced Ratnamuni, that he was trying to inculcate a socio-religious movement under Shaivism, it was also quite unique, and definitely this is also significantly aiding in the existing knowledge of you. So, sir, in this concluding remarks, a very simple question I want to put to you is that as we all are you student and in today's lecture, most of the students of the Department of History of Polytechnic College is attending this lecture. Sir, what book you are going to suggest we should buy to know more about this young uprising on 1943? Will you please suggest? Then it will be a wonderful experience.
Now, actually, there are very few books
Yes, sir.
written. Uh, there is a very old books, and there are few articles that is being published in TOEI
Okay, sir.
that are more or less available in Tribal Research Institute.
Okay, sir.
But the latest one, what I like to request is just suggest is that actually it's my book, History of the Riyan, which I recently published.
Yeah.
Uh, the detailed account it can be found, right? The history of the Riyan, written by
Okay.
me.
Okay.
No, I'm very much proud to say that because I have had through research, taking almost every person, those who have written on the Rians,
Okay.
till date,
Okay. Okay.
because till date there is no any new revelation that is being written on the Rian uprising. So whatever that book that is being written, I have everything analyzed. I have totally reviewed all those books, all those articles, and it has been inculcated, all those positive, all those negative, everything, all those views in my books. So I think the books that I've written, then more or less the information can be gathered regarding the subject. Not only that, even all those from the archives, national archives, all those
Okay.
material are also be included, in these books. So it will be of great help, to the student of history for regarding this uprising. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So, with that, we are actually at the end of our special lecture. There is a beginning for everything, and obviously, there is also an end of everything. So, now it is time that I should propose the vote of thanks, and I want to first thank our respected Honorable Father Principal, Father Benike John, that he has given us his consent to organize this lecture. He has also provided all the necessary logistics to organize this online lecture. So I really thank Father Benike John, the respected Father Principal of this college, for helping us, for mentoring us to progress and to grow every moment. Secondly, obviously, Sir Lincoln Ryan, sir is my own teacher and Madam's own teacher also. I also like to thank Sir Lincoln that Sir, despite his busy schedule, Sir has taken the trouble and Sir has actually accepted our invitation and Sir has delivered this wonderful lecture on Rihanna Uprising today to us and to all the students of the Department of History of Holy Cross College. We are grateful, sir, to you for your lecture. I really want to cite this instance here that this is the second time we are collaborating with sir. In 2021, in March 12 and 13, we were organizing one state level tribal knowledge system lecture. And without hesitation, whenever we approach to sir, without any hesitation, sir always respond to our requests. And we are really grateful, sir, that you are always treating us as your student. And whenever we are approaching to you, you are accepting our requests and invitations and enlightening us whenever you are getting an opportunity to do so. Thank you, sir, for your time. And sorry for the initial inconvenience you faced because of us, because of some technical issue in the past 10 or 15 minutes. Thank you, sir. Then I also would like to thank our respected Vice Principal, Father Joe Paul. Though Father is not right connected with us, but he is always with us in spirit. And I really want to thank Father Joe Paul, the Honorable respected Vice Principal of this college, for his blessings on us so that we can progress, we can grow. Then I also would like to thank Madam Sushmita, the Assistant HOD of the department, who has taken a lot of trouble in organizing the whole program. She actually is the main force behind organizing today's lecture. She has prepared the schedule and she has taken all the trouble of preparing the reports and other stuff, coordinating with the students, coordinating with volunteers. Thank you, madam, for your wholehearted effort. And indeed, because of your wholehearted effort, we are having a very successful online lecture today. Thank you, madam, once again to you. Then I also would like to thank all the participants, dear students of the Department of History, all the 3 semesters and the faculties of this institute. I have seen some faculties, respected faculties from BA department, from science departments have attended and are attending this lecture. I really want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all my fellow colleagues for their time and patience hearing. Then uh, then obviously I have to also thank the anchor MC of today's program, Tonmoy Shaha. Tonmoy, you have done very good in actually taking forward today's program. I really thank you for your honest and humble effort. And lastly, I also would like to thank Sir Jinesh, who is the technical assistant of our college. And we are having a lecture in online mode, and we need lot of technical assistance because we are from history. We are with basically dealing with past. We are not good at technology. So in that case, Sir Jinesh has helped us out a lot, though there is poor network reception, but somehow we have managed by the blessings of Almighty, by the blessings of Jesus. Once again, thank you to Sir Jinesh. And once again, I want to thank Sir Lincoln and all the dear participants who have joined this lecture. Thank you. We hope to see you all once again in the next distinguished lecture of the same lecture series of the department. Thank you all. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you everyone for attending the online session with us. Now everyone can leave this room. And another important message that everyone is about to submit the certificate, the feedback form to get the certificates. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you and have a good day. Thank you.
শেষ স্যার একটা একটা একদম Yasin, oh, now I can relax a bit. Sir? How? Yes. अरे ना सर हाई फाई